16 years later, I don't really feel qualified to comment on Looking for Alaska, but Alaska for Looking is fascinating. Like, for example, here at the end of the letter H, it reads, hygienic, hyperventilating, hypothetical hysteria, I, which would not be a bad title for my autobiography. Like, hygienic, hyperventilating, hypothetical hysteria is my overwhelming response to 2020. It's just such a good line. It's one of those lines that you wish you had written until you realize that you did write it, just not in the right order. In fact, reading a book alphabetized leads to all kinds of wonderful combinations. How again leads into against, or wrong into wrote, or lonely into long. Seeing the book this way, it's a story of huddled hugs and smirking smoke. And then there are the little things I was reminded of. Like when writing Alaska, I was obsessed with symmetry. The number of days in the first part of the book had to be exactly equal to the number of days in the second part of the book, and so on. But I also did all these silly little things to please this weird worship of symmetry, like having the word remembered appear exactly one more time than the word forgotten. And it was nice to be reminded of that, if only because 16 years later I can celebrate not being quite so beholden to symmetrical obsession. To read a book alphabetically is to understand its preoccupations, but not its narrative. Like, in Alaska for Looking, I have no idea who anyone is or what happens to them, but I can tell the story is about school, and before, and after, and labyrinths. And that's actually not so different from how stories survive in my head. Like, I don't remember the plot of most of the books I've read, only how they made me feel, and why they mattered to me. Now, of course, an alphabetized book doesn't tell you the whole story, but reading through this, I did feel like it was telling me a story about me, and me, and me, and you, and you, and you, and time, and time, and time.